Welcome, Annie Collins here for the Makers Movement. Today we'll be creating this fall card. Let's go over some of the products I used to create it. New from the Makers Movement, the Fall Woodland Friends stamp set. This is a 10-piece set. It contains 3 images of critters, a bear, a fox, and a squirrel, a mushroom, some leaves, an acorn, and a berry branch, 2 sentiments, so much to be thankful for, and today we'll be using the best place to be is surrounded by family. There are coordinating dies for this set. It cuts the bear, the squirrel, the mushroom, and the little fox. The other elements you'll have to fussy cut yourself. New for the Makers Movement are these paper packs. These are 6x6 pattern paper. There's there's 24 double-sided designs in here, and you can see it in detail in my fall release video. I'll make sure to link it below. We're using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, some Barely Art glue, some jute cord from my stash that we'll use to create a little bow. I went ahead and stamped and colored our images. We'll be using our fox and our squirrel, as well as this little acorn right here. I went ahead and fussy cut that one. We'll be cutting the squirrel and the fox here in a little bit using our mini maker. So let's jump into our card making. So I'm going to bring in the coordinating dies for our fox and our squirrel, and I'm going to adhere them using some washi tape. Then I'll run them through my mini maker using our cutting plates. I like to use my metal shim, but you don't have to because it has excellent pressure in this little mini maker, and it's perfect to use and have in your craft desk at all times. Perfect for little images like this, and perfect for sentiments that you can easily die cut. Okay, so quickly I ran those through. I'm going to pop these out and we can get going with the rest of our card. I'm going to pull those and the rest of our elements out here. So I'm just looking for all my pieces. This is some white cardstock, and the other side of this striped paper is this polka dot tone on tone red. The other side of the blue with the leaves is a plaid pumpkin-y color, as you can see there. And I went ahead and used a die cut scalloped edge for that little piece there, and a die from my stash of a tag for our tag. So I'm going to start by adhering this striped paper to our card base. This is a A2 card base, so it's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to adhere that, and my card base is heavyweight cardstock, is 110 pounds. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that on there, set that down. I'm going to adhere now our tag, and I want it to the left, and I'm going to put it straight. I'm just going to put some adhesive here, and the adhesive I'm using is Barely Art glue. It's a liquid glue, and I like it because it gives me some wiggle room to make sure things are straight. Now this little piece here, like I said, I cut a small strip, and then I use a die from my stash to cut a little fine, a small fine scalloped little edge. I'm going to adhere it, coming in from the right, going across our tag and just a smidgen over. I'll cut off any extra of this on here once I have it straight. Now I'm going to snip off that extra. And then this is going to give us a nice little landing space for our cute little critters. But before we adhere our little critters, I'm going to go ahead and get our jute cord together. I'm going to show you here, these are 2 colors I pulled in. It's like a goldenrod yellow and like a pumpkin-y color. I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to form rabbit ears. And then I'm going to cross my rabbit ears, turn them into one inside the other, and basically tie a knot. This gives me a little bow, and it'll lay flat on my card. Now I'm going to adjust the bow here, just fuss with it a little bit till I get it to the size I want. And I'm not sure if I've told you, but I've rearranged my craft room, and I still haven't found all of my things. Well, I moved from one room to another, I should say, in my home. So I'm not sure where my tiny glue dots are at this moment. So I'm using a larger glue dot, so I'm just going to squish it into the spot that I want it. And then I'm going to adhere that little bow right on top of it. I'm going to cut off the extra extras here on the leads of the bow. And now I'm going to bring in our little critters, which I'm going to use some foam adhesive on the back of them so they can be popped up on our card. So I'm putting some on our little squirrel and our fox. Once I have that there, I'll remove the backing and place them onto our card. And I'm also going to put a little foam adhesive on the acorn, which I'll set aside and we'll use it in a little bit. Get my little squirrel on here. He's tiny, so I'm just cutting a little adhesive down a bit. Once I do that, remove the backing, and I'll just place him right in front of our fox. I had one little piece that needed to go on his bushy little tail there. Alright, once I have that there, he's going to be placed in front of our little fox. And I'm going to go ahead and add the foam adhesive to our acorn and set it aside, so I can have all this adhesive part done. Alright, so now we're going to work on our sentiment. I have a piece of white cardstock and the other piece of scrap of the pattern paper, that stripe paper, and the other side is the red polka dot. I'm going to bring in our sentiment, which is the best place to be, is surrounded by family. I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp it off. And I'm just stamping it onto a scrap of white cardstock. And then I'm going to trim that down, and I'll adhere it onto the red polka dot pattern paper. Just giving it a quick trim here. And I will angle one of the sides. And I drop my sentiment. That's about how it goes for me in crafting all the time. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the red pattern paper. And now I'm just going to trim it, the rest of it off with my scissors. I'm going to quickly add some adhesive to it, adhere it down, and I'll keep the rest of that scrap paper because it'll be perfect for die cutting other elements out. Trim that down, get it to the size I want it, make any adjustments, and then I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of my sentiment. I wasn't at first, but then I was like, I think I want to. So I'm going to find my foam adhesive here and put that on the back. I'm going to go ahead and quickly put that on there. And I'm tucking those little strings from the bow behind my sentiment. So now I have some little jewels here that I'm going to go ahead and adhere. One next to the word family, the little teal one, or aqua color one. And then I have a light pumpkin-y orange and then a darker orange here. I'm pulling from the colors that you see in the pattern paper for my little gems. I'm going to go ahead and put our acorn. At first I thought I was going to put it down there, but then I decided to place it closer to the gems. And then I'm going to go ahead and add 3 more on the left bottom corner here, in the same coordinating colors. Once I have that all set, I'm going to show you a quick close-up of our card and how cute are those little animals. I made sure that his little scarf coordinated with our pattern paper, so this makes it super easy to create because everything coordinates so beautifully. So now I just put in my sentiment, stick it in an envelope, and I'm off, and it goes. So here's our card, and again we use an Autumn Breeze 6x6 pattern paper pack, the Fall Woodland Friends stamp and die set, and our mini maker to create our card today. Like always, I'll have everything listed in the description box below, and I hope you found some inspiration.